Let the battle of the role swaps commence! Hi guys, and welcome back to the ESO Heroes Summer Regional number 2 Qualifier number 4, where we are about to have our first qualification match of the event. The winner of Cloud9 versus Tempo Storm right here will get one of those 2 spots at Regionals in the beginning of June. I'm Gillyweed. Zoia is here, my casting partner, and we are super pumped to bring you guys this best of 3 match. With the draft starting.
Hello. Oh, it's
Hi.
starting. Nice.
Yeah.
I'm sad, Gilly.
Why are you sad?
Arthalon just tweeted out he's retiring from Heroes.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I'm sad.
That is saddening. That's an end of an
Talented
era.
Player.
For sure.
Unfortunate that things couldn't pan out after this for him, but yeah, we have a draft, Gilly. Cloud9 versus Tempo Storm.
Yes, and Tempo Storm has banned Tyrande. Cloud9 are banning Tassadar. And then the first pick will be on Sonya. Again, every once in a while, we're seeing these first pick Sonyas popping up here and again.
Yeah. Just such a fantastic hero. It blows my mind that she's like fallen off completely. I mean, a lot of things from NA's drafting today has been like mind-blowing, like Illidan, for instance. I don't think
Yeah.
I think he was banned 1 game today, and it has been let through every other draft. I'm not 100% sure.
Is this just the product of NA not wanting to play him, not viewing him as strongly as Gold League, or is this the product of
I know
the
Deventic
patch?
runs him. I know Deventic has no issues running Illidan.
Well, yeah, but the patch maybe making a huge difference, and same with like Astral Authority. If Illidan were up, they would grab him in a heartbeat. It's different. It might just be the teams that we're seeing. Who knows? I'm interested to see how the meta around Illidan will continue to develop, but Cloud9 have prioritized getting Kael'thas and Uther here on Sky Temple for game number 1. Now Tassadar is not up to help Sonya out here, so if they want to have one of the big 2 supports, they're gonna have to grab Rhaegar here.
Well, we'll see what Tempo Storm wants to do. The Sky Temple, so supports are very important, as lots of sustain does end up happening. With both pseudos down, you don't want to not play, or you don't want to play Kharazim or Brightwing in the situation most of the time. So they're going to lock in that Rhaegar. See what their next pick's going to be. Sylvanas is still on the table. Li Ming is up. They could go for a Warrior and try and ban out ETC or Murden, whoever they want to play. But we've seen Cloud9 all day has been willing to run a new Barak solo Warrior, so that's even without double frontline. Like last game, they did not have a Sonya up there with the Anubarak, so I don't know if it's possible to chokehold Cloud9 out of Warriors right now. You can maybe like force Cloud9 onto like ETC or Murden by like big banning one and banning out a noob. I think that might be the best option, but we'll see what Tempo wants to do. Do they prioritize the tank right now, or do they prioritize the Sylvanas? Or the Falstad too. There's a lot
There are a
of
lot of options, yeah.
That's what happens when the hero pool keeps growing every 3 weeks.
Yeah, it is. Soon we'll see if Chromie is played much, but we did see some Tracer, our newest available hero in the, available hero for the pro scene, but they're going to grab Li Ming, so more damage, and potentially prioritize more because Kael'thas was grabbed by Cloud9. If they're worried that maybe C9 was going to pick Kael'thas and then ban Li Ming looking at those 2 mages, that may be one reason why they grabbed her. But she's also just very powerful in general. Has a lot of really good damage. Now with the next set of bans, Cloud9 could ban a Warrior and then pick one up here, and that's what they're looking at with Murden.
I think the Murder Man's fine. Keep in mind that targeting a Warrior here for Cloud9, especially one like Murden that's going to be like the most played, is good versus Tempo Storm because of Ziggs. You mentioned the role swaps, the battle of role swaps with Ziggs. Now the Warrior main for Tempo Storm.
Yes.
Whereas Tiger JK is the new support. He's not going to have as much experience on, he's not going to have as near as a depth of Warrior pool as Cloud9 does with Caffeine and Caterpillar. So Muradin probably is the most played warrior for anyone across all roles. Like even if like sometimes in Hero League, yes, you know what, you got to play warrior. You're gonna lock in Muradin, right? So
Yes, for sure.
I think targeting Zix with those comfortable picks is the best option.
A very good plan. Tempo Storm are focusing on that melee assassin role. They grabbed Zoia early on, and now they have banned Thrall from Cloud9. But there are still heroes within that Cloud9 can go for pretty easily. We'll see what they grab. For now, it's ETC as the warrior. It was very easy to tell that they were going to go for that, especially with that, or because of that Muradin ban. And then after ETC, what? Are they going to be going for a double warrior comp since those pseudo supports are gone? Do we just go for a triple backline? Maybe with a Zera tool? There's a lot of options.
It's a tough choice. I completely expect the ETC pick again. Trying to force. Well, there's the new Brack. Okay. Arthas, too. Make up your mind, clowns.
We're thinking.
Make up your mind. I think the new Brack has been working great, personally. Cocoon is such a powerful ability.
Yeah, it really is. And especially on Rhaegar, too.
I love this. This is so cool. Like, this kind of composition. This, like, is a throwback to when Kael'thas first came out, when he used to have, like, the Ignite build, where, like, his Qs would proc Chain Bomb, and you would just go triple warrior with Kael'thas Uther. And the whole plan was just let Kael'thas kill everything. Of course, Tempo Storm, having a manager that casts and watch China,
yes!
that whenever, any time in China, we see double warrior, Tychus gets insta-locked.
Now, what I will tell you is that for the most part, they run Tychus, at least MVP Black, runs Tychus with the double support. So
That's
instead
true.
of the Li Ming there, they would have a Tychus, Zoia, Rhaegar, and Tassadar, and then the ETC.
Yeah.
They don't have that availability for them, but I am excited to see if they can make this work out because I want to see more Tychus play.
Yeah. It's not just MVP Black that runs Tychus, though. We saw some of the other Chinese teams run it. We saw eStar and X Team both bust out the Tychus.
Yes.
But I agree.
But only MVP Black has won with them.
Even with the Tychus pickup here, I still think Cloud9 has the better composition so far. And Joanna's going to be the last pick here for Tempo Storm. Yeah, I'm really happy with Cloud9's comp. The Tychus pick, it makes sense in this situation, but you have way too many high-priority comp targets on the end of Tempo Storm for Rhaegar to be able to support on his own. Zoia is going to need the Ancestral. If Zoia is not getting the Ancestral, Zoia is a paperweight, essentially. She needs the support. She needs to be hit with it. That's what happened in game number 1 of Rack Attack versus OVO. Ancestral was used every fight on not Zoia, and Zoia just died because of it. Have to support your Sonias. And if Tychus is out of position ever, if Li Ming's out of position ever, and Ancestral has to be used on them, if Joanna gets hit with Ancestral, it makes Zoia so much harder to get value with. And of course, the Greymane pickup. Cloud9's played Greymane 3 of the 4 games we've seen today.
Really focusing on being able to have him. I love that.
This is Executioner God comp, by the way.
Yes. Between Nuvarak, Arthas is basically a sole enabler of Executioner with Frozen Waste or Frozen Tempest. And then they still have Uther and Kael'thas for more stuns too. They get to 16, and I'm going to be pretty scared for Tempo Storm, and especially because it's Rhaegar. He's got area healing, but for Tychus, Li Ming, and Zoia. They do have some heroes, though, that can kind of self-sustain, which will help. Zoia, I think we'll likely be seeing the Ferocious Healing at 7 instead of Composite Spear this game. Li Ming cannot go Glass Cannon. Tychus at 13 can get the self-healing talent too for Minigun. I believe it's called That's the Stuff. That's the stuff. I can't. I tried and I failed. With my Tychus
you did not
impression.
change your voice at all.
I know.
I'm confused. You sound like you were trying to change your voice and you got upset that it didn't change, but nothing changed in it.
You're right. 0% changed. We are heading into game number 1 between Cloud9 and Tempo Storm. This is the best of 3, and the winner qualifies for the Heroes of the Storm North America Summer Regional number 2 that will be taking place in Los Angeles later on. Actually, at the beginning of June. Here we go.
It's in Burbank, Los Angeles.
Well, you know what? The technical term is Los Angeles if you look at any of the branding, and B, Burbank is a part of it technically, so I don't need your sass. Here in the blue we have Cloud9 with King Caffeine playing a new Barak, K1 Pro on Kael'thas, Uther played by Dunktrain, Caterpillar on Arthas, that's going to be confusing, and iDream will be playing Greymane.
And on the right, it's going to be Tempo Storm. Tomster on Tychus, Zix on Joanna, Tiger JK on Rhaegar, Goku on Zoia, and KO playing Li Ming.
I have to fix the overlays, so if you wouldn't mind giving me a minute.
Oh, wow, an entire minute? That is...
Yeah, Bakery gave me an inside tip on how to fix my overlay, so I've got to do that.
Change one here by Tempo Storm briefly as they do control the eye, but Caterpillar and Dream is going to go ahead and walk onto it after they back out, so they're going to control the watchtower for now.
Never mind, that didn't work. Thanks, Bakery, though. We tried. We tried to fix it.
Bakery, the liar. Bakery, the dream crusher.
He said to tell you hi, by the way.
Hi, Bakery. I love you and I miss you.
Alright, we're setting up in Sky Temple. It'll be Greymane versus Zoia in the bottom lane. Meanwhile, the rotations to try to control the watchtower are coming in from both of the teams. You see Arthas and potentially a new Barak starting to go up. The fight is taking a place in the watchtower. Tiger JK caught in a very tough spot, and Rhaegar will be first blood.
Devil Zix is not going anywhere as well. King Caffeine's going to die for it, though. Resets are here from KO, and they get Caterpillar. Nicely done, and they're going for the chase onto Dunktrain. Gravityps connects with 2 members. KO, Tomster are going to have the backup sword. 2-for-2 exchange. Just showing you the power of Li Ming's resets. I thought that was definitely in favor of Cloud9 there. But nice job from Tempo Storm for minimizing the damage losses there. And it ends up being an even trade here. iDream seeming to bully Goku here in the bottom, but we do have the Shrine spawning in the top and middle lately.
It was the Li Ming's resets, but then also Tychus' ability to just sit there and put damage down. He literally just sat there and minigunned to his heart's content. And it was 2 warriors right up in front, so it was the ideal targets for him. Even Uther is a pretty tanky support for him to go after. So now Tempo Storm are getting set up around that mid-temple. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Cloud9 are controlling that top temple. And they're about halfway through the shots, each of them. So they're trying to just keep them close. We're looking at potentially just a trade of these 2 temples.
Tempo Storm with about a half a lead right now. That should bounce out, though, after this ends up playing out all the shots there. And so far, neither team getting too aggressive here. Cloud9 with the advantage, though, as they still have Greymane soaking bottom, and he's going to get some structures here. If Tempo Storm doesn't get kills or take over, which they don't, they run out of time to get the shots. This trade was in favor of Cloud9. I mean, look how much damage iDream got down on the bottom.
Yeah, he did. Goku is coming in now. Can the spear connect? iDream's trying to bait it out, stay away from it, goes into Worgen form, and gets away from the Goku. Looking at the talents that were picked up at level 4, it is in the rhythm for Tychus, so extending the duration of the minigun. There's really like 2 different builds that we see, but this is the one that I saw a lot more common with MVP Black, with switching out either Shrug It Off or Press the Advantage at level 1, but picking up in the rhythm, and then I think it's the self-healing then at level 13, which hopefully will help him out, as well as Dominance that Li Ming grabbed, knowing that they've only got that 1 support to keep everybody alive.
Yeah, the self-healing on 13 for Tychus is insane.
Yes.
You can heal so much, specifically paired with the Tassar when you get the life drain on your shield at 4. You can heal for a lot here. Caterpillar looking to get aggressive, not going to catch anyone in position. Tempo Storm playing pretty safe up here. And yeah, it was still a pretty even game right now. Cloud9 just, again, because of what iDream did in the bottom, is going to have a slight experience lead right now.
Yeah, both teams are trying to make sure that they're continuing that soak and getting 7 before the next temple phase too, but Cloud9 had some pretty good siege damage in at least in pushing in the minions to this to start draining these towers of their ammo. We'll start to see Tempo Storm picking up their bruisers. Meanwhile, Cloud9 are working on their giants in the bottom left. They're going to be able to pick those up and hopefully get some push done with it. Get a better setup in this lane in preparation for the next tower phase, temple phase.
Loving this build from Dunktrain there. We're going to be seeing a Balanced Conviction and Wave of Light picked up. Cleanse, not needed at all here. I guess a Blessed Shield, Ancient Spear.
Yeah.
Not really needed, so good heads-up play from Dunktrain on the fly, adjusting up his talents. You see Zix coming in flank.
Yeah, Cloud9 gets the well, and that's huge. As long as they can make sure not to lose anybody here, that's going to be so great for them. Because now there's no well to allow Tempo Storm to re-engage if we get into this very long fight on the Temple. But King Caffeine is getting pretty low. Caterpillar's going to go back in, and Tomster is similarly in Goku, taking some damage from the damage dealers of Cloud9. They've been able to push Tempo Storm back, using a Howling Blast, even catch a few of the members, but again, there's no well here.
You called it completely. Look at how healthy Cloud9 is after that exchange because of the well taps. Look at Tempo Storm. All very low in health.
Had to go back.
Had to go back, but taking that well, won Cloud9 at least the initial half of this shrine. And that's huge. They're going to get the first 4 of the game. Sometimes the Tempo Storm's getting value here with those bruisers in the top. Experience is still pretty even, but Cloud9 going to get a advantage from this. We do see that K1 Pro Scouts that is coming out. The Gravity Lapse does go down. King Caffeine does have the burrow, so he can get out of here himself. Will Dunktrain end up falling, but they got a lot of damage onto him, and he does end up falling.
King Caffeine's okay. Tiger JK's like, hello, I know you were in this temple. And King Caffeine's gonna burrow out. So they lose the Uther, but they still get the fort, and that's because they took out the well, which of course meant that it didn't soak up more shots, and they bought some time for the time that Tempo Storm had to go back. Cloud9 has a slight lead, especially because iDream has been here up at the top soaking for a majority of that time and was able to get the bruisers down, even putting damage onto this top fort, and they have their heroic abilities.
So Tychus build, we're going to be seeing a quarterback of 7. It's going to pair well with the level 16. I remember its name.
Titan Grenade.
Titan Grenade. We talked about Into the Rhythm already. I think I would have preferred the health one, the 40%, above 40% HP, you do extra damage. Again, just to help deal with that double warrior front line. But Into the Rhythm's not necessarily bad at all.
Yeah,
if you can
and
actually
later
build
on,
up the stacks.
Yeah, later on, if you can build up the stacks too, I mean, you'll still get the basic giant killer right out of it, and it'll be for longer because the In the Rhythm has increased the duration, and again with the self heal, it'll increase that too. But we'll see what they pick at 13 if they do go for that's the stuff there. They've picked up their heroic abilities too. No leap, as always. My heart can't take this anymore.
Really?
No. I always want leap ban so I can be like, you know, alarms and stuff.
Don't do it.
I'm not. There's no
You're only
leap.
allowed to do it when it's there.
I know.
Wrecked. Yeah, double warrior here for Cloud9, so that's why we're seeing the Death Coil build. It just allows you to trade more efficiently and stuff. I think most of the time in solo warrior Arthas, which I don't know if it'll catch on yet or not, but that we usually see the Frozen Tempest build in that situation. But versus, especially the Tychus, man, getting that extra life regen is going to be so helpful. You don't want to have Uther using his Divine Shield on Arthas, right?
Right.
Let's be on Greymane.
Plus, there is the possibility, again, for Summon Syndragosa plus Executioner at level 16. That's a lot more slows, which he already has a lot of great things to do. He also picked up Frost Presence at 1, which means that he has Howling Blast up more often, and there, speaking of Howling Blast, is going to hit Johanna, forces them to use the Iron Skin, and King Caffeine still wants to go for the chase. Disintegrate's coming out, there is the Blessed Shield. Zix is going to get hit by the Howling Blast. Flame Strike trying to get that kill. Tomster gets healed back up for the Ancestral Healing, and Divine Shield comes out. No kills yet, Zoya.
A lot of heroics used on either side, but only Go for the Throat is available for iDream. He did not end up using it in that fight, so essentially an even trade there where both teams kind of walk away healthy, but when it comes to fighting without their heroics, it just depends on how well Li Ming is trading. Gravity Lapse does not connect with anyone there. Tomster avoiding that by the edge of his teeth.
And there's Disintegrate again coming out, hitting K1 Pro, and Cloud9 are still trying to make this fight happen. There is a huge minion wave at their fort in the bottom too that's going away, but if they can hold this for just a little bit longer, at least they would be able to take out that top fort. But even still, there's still a temple in the bottom too. They're still really trying to get a kill off of this, and they should be able to secure one.
Yeah, but Zuketchik's just way too far forward there, even with Iron Skin. Without having Ancestral, he should not have been that aggressive with this positioning, so he is going to end up being the first death of this long fight. And I love the decision making from Cloud9. They don't immediately go for the point. They're looking for more kills and looking for a fort, just maximizing the amount of damage they'll get with their ammo, and that's going to be level 13 here for Cloud9.
And they tried to gravity lapse Tychus upon exiting the cocoon, but didn't quite have them lined up to pick him up and grab that kill. But even with that, they have 13. Thanks to picking up that fort in the top, they're still going to get a lot of this temple up in the top. And Rhaegar is already rotated to the bottom to start doing what he can, knowing that everybody is still pretty far away from the bottom. But without 13, he'll have to be very careful here and know if someone is starting to come for him.
Well, let's see here what Tempo Storm plans to do to try and get this game back in their favor. Tiger JK going to give it the point, knowing people are rotating down. Back out. His team does have level 13 soon, so they can contest. Last of the shots from top are going to damage mid. Won't be able to take it out, but if they control any shots mid, that will end that last fort for Tempo Storm. And Cloud9, I mean, they're only a level up, yes, but structurally they are so far ahead. Bottom fort still standing, mid fort standing, top fort standing. I mean, they have not taken any serious damage. K1 Pro taking a lot of damage. No Divine Shield has been used just yet. He's trying to stay alive without having to pop it, and K1 Pro doesn't go down without using that. It's a win for Cloud9.
Man, iDream so far in the back, but does take out Rhaegar. The Syndragosa came down too, and Tomster is in a lot of trouble. Gets hit again by the Howling Blast. There have been so many of these, but Greymane gets brought down, and that's a good kill. It gives KO the resets he needs to get back into this. And members of Cloud9 are fairly low, despite the fact that it's a 4v3.
They're looking like they want to recontest this, though. Goku gets the spear on the dunk train, but gets punished immediately for it. And now Ziggs is so far forward. He's very low in health. Do they have the burrow charge to try and connect? The root connects as well. That shows Caterpillar, level 13 talent, was able to root him with that. I love that talent so much.
Trail of Frost? Yes. Yeah. And that is increasing the range now too. Before it was just that it would hit everybody in between, but now because it increases the range, it's even more viable. And you pair that with the Frost presence, and he is hitting everybody in a Howling Blast, and there's just no escape from the members of Cloud9 after that. It's very cool build we're seeing Caterpillar used for this Arthas.
Yeah, and this is pre-16, right? Kael'thas doesn't have his power spike. Executioner doesn't have it. So now that they have 16, Cloud9 with a 3-level lead for a moment, about to be 2-level lead. But still, this is a huge, huge game now for Cloud9. It'll be very hard for Tempo Storm to swing this back in their favor. They're going to need to somehow just... Maybe Cloud9's got to do throw pit? I don't know. This is a massive power spike for those two heroes. And when you have
absolutely. And especially, they've already had the advantage. They have all their forts up.
Yeah.
A 2-level lead, 16, with big talent spikes at that 16. So we'll see what Tempo Storm can do, but they will be playing the catch-up game for a long time, and they definitely do not need this. Getting somebody caught out, Ziggs gets hit. He's going to try to go back in with the fight. Tomster's up far, trying to do damage on the Kael'thas, and at least they bait out the Divine Shield, but here comes the Syndragosa into the Impale, and Ancestral Healing will keep Ziggs alive.
They're cutting back as well as they can. They're trying to disengage. Cocoon was used. A lot of heroics were used to use on the end of Cloud9 there, and no kills were picked up. I think every heroic's actually down in the game right now. It's for Go for a Throat, because again, you're not going to use that unless someone almost dies, and, well, no one almost died there. It was a really interesting engage on both teams' ends, but Tempo Storm, they just seem to not die in those situations and keep soaking multiple lanes.
Tempo does have a nice bruiser push in the top lane that somebody will go up against. The bottom fort is almost easy experience for Tempo Storm if they could bring that down. It's very low in health. Even the mid fort is fairly low too. If they can just get that maybe off of the giant push. And there are a double temple phase, so if they can at least get something here, start to bring down some of those forts, they could get 16 and find a fight on even talent footage, or the even talent tier. But whether or not Cloud9 will allow them to do that, they're getting pretty aggressive around these temples.
We'll see what they plan on doing here. Bottom keep is taking some damage, so if they can control this bottom one, it also gives them, again, the avenue to the boss easier.
Right.
So this could be a keep going down here for Tempo. Still no forts falling, but mid fort will fall here as Tempo Storm sieges down with that shrine. Shots will go top next, I believe. So this could be a triple fort situation for Tempo Storm. They do get themselves level 16, finally on the same tier as Cloud9.
That keep, though.
Yeah, it's going down.
It
First keep of the game, with this not even being contested anytime soon.
Oh, and that's just so unfortunate because they had just gotten 16, but losing that keep, and their boss is available if at any point they lose a fight now.
Yeah.
It's the end of the line for Tempo.
Last fort of Cloud9 going to be going down here, maybe with the charge shots. I don't. Yep.
Boom.
So all 3 forts are now down for Cloud9. So Tempo Storm, you know, catching up on the map, but they're still down 2 full levels as Cloud9's about to hit 19, getting so close to those 20-tier talents. They're down a keep. I mean, this is Cloud9's game to lose at this point.
Yeah, it really is.
They are in such a good position. They'll be hitting 20 about the time the next altar spawn. And I don't see them throwing that then.
And yeah, Tempo is keeping an eye on the boss, but what they're not doing is soaking all of the other lanes. They don't have somebody like Falstad who can just fly in if they need to. Johanna is going to move down because that wave is pretty close to them, and they can soak this mid one too. But top, nobody is up there because they have to keep an eye out for this too. But if they can get kills here, if they could find iDream, which is what they're trying to do now that they're on the same tier before Cloud9 gets 20, maybe then they can get the boss themselves.
Well, here we go. Tempo Storm looking to contest this. Spear does not end up connecting with iDream. They need to go clear those giants in the bottom. Actually looking for a flank here, trying to catch Dunk Train or iDream out. Nice stun from Dunk Train there. Knem comes out. Gravilock's not connecting with anyone, but Tomster getting chunked by K1 Pro by himself. Phoenix comes out, Ancestral used early in the fight. Cocoon just about to break, but Goku very far forward. Zix and Tomster both fall almost immediately. If Tempo Storm can get another kill, this could be game for Cloud9. KO with the blink backwards. iDream secures the kill, though. Bro Charge going to connect with Tiger JK.
Oh my
Gravilock
God.
goes down onto Zoia, and Tiger JK might just barely go down with the living buffs for the kill. They do. That's a 5-for-0 exchange here. They're about to be level 20. The core is exposed, and GG Cloud9 in a destructive fashion just completely bodies Tempo Storm. That game wasn't even close.
King Caffeine, hello? Evil, that was so awesome. The body blocks right at the gate. Fantastic job by Cloud9. They barely lost all 3 of their forts. Their keeps were very healthy, 20-17. And yeah, an easy game 1 for them, for sure.
Yeah, it's, I think it goes back to the Tychus pick. It makes sense versus the double warrior lineups. I don't think it makes, after seeing it versus the Noob Arthas, I don't think it works in that sense. It works versus the warriors that, because when you're Tychus, you have to be close to the warriors, right? So you're going to be taking damage and stuff. It works versus a warrior like Murden or ETC that once they've used their, engage, they don't really have anything outside of that, right? They're just like bodies at that point. They're just health pools. But Arthas and Nubrak aren't just health pools, they're also damage monsters. If you take a look at the hero damage, Arthas almost outdid as much as Greymane. So, whenever you're in range of Arthas and you're trying to kill him as Tychus, well, you're also getting killed. So, yeah. I like the idea of going Tychus against certain comps, but it did not seem good at all in this game. Maybe because of the lack of the second support, like you mentioned in the draft, or the fact that it was just Arthas and Noob who are just going to run all over the Tychus.
When I was really studying MVP Black's Tychus picks, it was very situational. All the right cards had to be in play. And you know, one thing that I will tell you was off was the map. I've not seen them pick him on Sky Temple. It's Infernal Shrines, Battlefield of Eternity, and Cursed Hollow because of his damage to the bosses. Also, like I said before, they were drafting him, except for one game in the Gold League Grand Finals, they drafted him with the Tassadar and then the ETC. And the one game that they drafted him with Murden and a triple backline, they really weren't doing super well with him. It was kind of like that. It's just that that was the Cursed Hollow game where E-Star threw on the boss worse than I've ever seen a team throw on a boss ever. So that's
really I've seen a lot of cognitive games where
that was the one
pretty hard throws on bosses, Gilly.
That was the one where they threw on the bottom left boss. They were the bottom right, or they were the right team. They threw on the bottom left boss, lost enough heroes that they lost 2 bosses, the tribute that gave MVP Black the curse, and then they lost all their forts and like maybe a keep too. It was a super destructive curse. It was pretty rough. But yeah, it's very situational, and then since then, MVP Black even have lost games with Tychus. So it's still very much like you need to make sure that all the right criteria are met to really find the best effectiveness with Tychus. And teams are still figuring that out for sure. Yep. But we are going to take a break before game number 2. We'll see if Cloud9 can close it out versus Tempo right here, if Tempo are going to bring it back and bring us to the 3rd game 3 we would hit. We'll see you guys soon. Hi friends, we are back with game number 2 between Cloud9 and Tempo Storm. Ooh, and we're going right into the draft. Those faces.
Battlefield of Eternity, Gillyweed, and we're seeing Cloud9 hovering a Thrall ban. The sustain for Thrall on this map is pretty good, but so is Sylvanas. So she's going to be banned out. What will Tempo Storm respond with? We've seen a lot of Tyrande bans on this map. We've also seen a lot of Tassadar bans versus Cloud9. This puts Tempo Storm in a really scary situation.
Yeah.
Do you let both Tass and Tyrande through? I think they do. I think you don't ban either of them. You want one of those two.
I love that choice from Cloud9 because of that situation that they put Tempo Storm in. So then what do they ban if not Tassadar or Tyrande?
They've been playing a lot of Greymane. iDream's been on Greymane 3 or 4 games recently.
And he's good on this battleground.
Yeah. Or the Kael'thas too. Both work.
Yeah, that's true. They are thinking on it. Could they also do something like... Oh, okay. They're just going to ban Tyrande.
Well, there's the first pick Tassadar. And they didn't even think about that. I mean, that was snap pick.
Yeah. I can almost hear them in comms like, well, Tass, so okay.
No, they knew before. And no matter what, they were getting Tass or Tyrande.
Yeah.
If Tass was the ban, they were picking Tyrande. If Tassadar wasn't the ban, they were picking Tass. Like, that was just so easy of a choice for Cloud9 to make. So now they have Tassadar. I mean, we saw Caterpillar play it last time on this map. His Force Walls were monster tier. He had great shields. Unfortunately, just Cloud9 didn't have a composition that capitalized very well off of the Force Walls, but they still ended up winning that game. So they do get the Tassadar again. Tempo Storm going to lock in the Greymane, it looks like, or the Kael'thas.
Is monster tier before or after S tier?
I don't think S tier applies to your ability to use the skills.
Oh, okay. All right. I get it now.
Yeah.
I think I'm set.
They're different types of tiers, different categories.
There are different tiers of tiers. Wait,
Yes.
no. Categories of tiers. Okay.
Different categories of tiers.
Got it. Thank you for the explanation.
And monster tier is right below Bootylicious tier.
Is that the highest you can have?
No, that's like 4th from the top.
Oh my gosh, there's so
You
many
need to
different
learn your
tiers
tier
here.
list, Gilly. What is wrong?
Okay, I'm gonna work on that before the next cast, guys, I promise. Kael'thas is there, as is Greymane. I like that they stole the Greymane away. Also, does Tomster still play? Is he still the Greymane player then?
It votes between him and Goku.
Okay.
It just depends on how the draft plays out.
I know that's been a favorite of his for a long time.
Li Ming, no surprise here, being hovered by Cloud9.
Yeah, especially with the Kael'thas pickup, they want to make sure that they can have one of these burst mages, but also she does great siege and poke damage to the Immortals. That's something that we saw in the last Battlefield of Eternity game. She put her opponents in tough positions of like, do we block these shots and basically just die, or do we just let her take the Immortal right out from under us? So it's a great pickup for them too, and already with Tassadar and Li Ming, I'm loving where Cloud9 is taking this draft.
See where they want to go with it. Thrall. I think this comp's great for Cloud9.
Mm-hmm.
Decent siege damage, great survivability. It'll be a long game. But with Thrall and his sustain, it just adds on to the double support aspect of what Cloud9 could be doing. Thrall doesn't need as many heals as other damage dealers do because he keeps himself alive with his trait.
Right.
So this is just like a poke comp from Cloud9, and I love it.
Yeah, and with getting Thrall too, because he does have that kind of self-sustain, they can focus more on Li Ming, which means Li Ming can likely go for Triumvirate over Dominance, and that means she will have those orbs up a lot for being able to siege down the Immortals. But we'll see what she picks as we get into the game. For now, we're moving on to the second stage of the bans, and Anubarak banned by Tempo Storm. They've done it. They've elicited the Anubarak ban.
Cocoon, man. It is too good. It is so good. Now that Anubarak's actually a hero as well, not just a single heroic. It's really good. So I am not surprised by the Anu ban at all.
Are you surprised by ETC here? Considering we had talked earlier about Zix playing Muradin more?
No, not really. when you look at Cloud9's current composition, they only have Sundering that interrupts Mosh Pit.
Mm-hmm.
So going I guess Wave of Force too, so.
Right, but if they want to make sure they don't have to take it, if they want the Disintegrate, that could make sense. Well, Rhaegar will be the support for Tempo Storm. Uther is still up too. I think this is one of the few drafts I see where like Rhaegar and Uther both make it through to the second phase.
I think
of
that's
picks.
going to be standard too.
Yeah,
with
that's crazy.
The rise of Arthas and the Noob, with the rise of Tehran to Tass, with Zul, Sylvanas, Illidan. You have to keep in mind, like these drafts are happening without Illidan even being banned, which is just.
That mind blown sound?
That was my mind exploding, by the way. In case you
It
didn't
sounded
catch
more like
that.
fireworks than like one explosion.
My mind was just blowing up into a million different pieces. That's, in case people didn't catch that, that's what that noise was. Third, the pick for Cloud9, I mean, no surprise there. You do have the task, so you can make other supports work, but Dunk Train's Uther is fantastic, so no shocker there. As for the Warrior, I mean, I would not actually hate Arthas. If you go Death Coil build, that's extra poke for the Immortal, that's extra sustain.
Oh, what about as your warrior? No warrior. Well, kind of warrior, but not really warrior. Can we call this a not really warrior composition?
This is okay.
But look at how much they have Tassadar Uther. It's not even Tassadar Brightwing or whatever. It's Tassadar Uther.
What I'm thinking with this composition is Tempo Storm has to defend their Immortal every single time. This forces Tempo Storm. They cannot. No, it doesn't matter what this last pick is. Tempo Storm has to defend their Immortal or they will lose the race against Sonya, Thrall, Li Ming, Tass every single time. I don't like the Tyrael pick at all, but this forces Tempo Storm to be you cannot trade against this at all. You have to contest, and that's scary for Tempo Storm. The Tyrael, we'll see if it's going to pay out. It's essentially a double support composition with Rhaegar Tyrael with the extra shields. Keep in mind, though, Tyrael received probably the biggest nerf to the battle momentum change. A lot of people thought that the battle momentum nerf to not being able to affect Sanctification affected Tyrael more than any of the other warriors, just because you could refresh Sanctification so fast.
Even Johanna?
I mean, Johanna's good with or without battle momentum. She's not designed like Tyrael's like MC's play because of his ult, right? Sanctification is insane, and being able to, it was already a short cooldown, but making it even shorter is important. So I'm really surprised by that pickup.
My thinking on their thought process is Cloud9 is going to go for these really huge engagements with the Sundering, and then Sonya will be in right afterward. If they can just make it through that initial jump, and then using the Tyrael, allow Greymane to like get into the backline, or Kael'thas even to get a gravity lapse, they blow somebody up from that. All they have to do is just survive the initialness, and maybe that's what they're looking at with Tyrael and the Sanctification.
I mean, maybe, but we've seen the double warrior Tyrael comps work on this map before. I believe we saw E-Star beat a team with this very same comp almost. You just kind of run over your opponents. So it can work. It's just, I'm assuming it's going to be Goku on Tyrael, Ziggs on Muradin. No, it's going to be Goku on Muradin, Ziggs on Tyrael. Okay.
Well, we'll see if the Tyrael is enough to allow Tempo Storm to make it through this very aggressive composition that Cloud9 is bringing out in order to win this game and qualify for regionals. I'm not gonna lie, I'd love a game 3. That'd be pretty fun. Here we go.
I would like a game 3 too, because I'm not biased at all. I don't want Tempo Storm to win.
Hashtag no bias. Here we go. What?
Here we go.
There hasn't been enough dancing this stream. Clearly Zoya disagrees. Here we go, guys. I'm going to try again to fix the overlay. So if you could introduce the teams, I would really appreciate it.
Okay, here on the left-hand side of the map of the blue trunks, it's going to be Tempo Storm. You can head over to the website, tempostorm.com, check out their meta snapshot, their guides, and their YouTube channel. But here we go. Tiger JK on Rhaegar, KO on Kilthos, Tomster playing Greymane, Zix on Tyrael, and Goku playing Muradin. And here on the right-hand side of the map, the Cloud9 squad, who use TempoStorm.com to help improve their play. It is going to be Dunk Train playing Uther, K1 Pro on Li Ming, King Caffeine on Thrall, iDream on Sonya, and Caterpillar playing the Tassadar.
We're almost there. You got this. Just like 20 more seconds.
20 more seconds while she does this thing. Well, we do see the teams contesting each other here in the middle. Taking a look at the talents. I love seeing the Aldrin's Might talent at level 1. Why am I forgetting its name?
Herodric Reforging!
Oh, why did I forget it? Herodric Reforging. It just allows you to just be so much more aggressive, reposition yourself so often. I don't know if that's necessarily needed with this composition. We'll see here if that ends up paying out for Zix or not. If there's ever a moment where he's just barely about to use Aldrin's Might and get value out of it, or he doesn't.
Dang, this overlay looks so spiffy now. Thank you, Bakery. For helping me figure this out. You are the best. So yeah, Herodric Reforging is there. I am pretty excited to see actually KO be able to lift up and destroy iDream's dreams, as that'll be the first blood. But what I was going to say is we have the Felon Fusion for Kilthos at level 1, increasing the ability power and maybe being telling of future Verdant Sphere's talents, but in the very least, just not even wanting to try to go for getting those Mana Addict regeneration globes. But usually you're still able to get that with Kilthos on this battleground.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Immortal's here at 15 seconds, Gilly. We'll see who comes out on top. Is TempoStorm going to try and trade with Cloud9, or are they going to take the defensive option?
Yeah, it kind of comes down to where those Immortals spawn too, if they were in the
they're going for the trade.
Aggressive spots. But yeah, they're going to go for the trade. Here we go. At least earlier on, hopefully they can keep this neck and neck. They were really good at the jump positionally, and they're going to be the ones to get halfway, yeah.
Yeah, just shows you that the spawn favoring TempoStorm there, as it did just spawned in perfect position there. But let's see if they can win out this race. It's going to be so close there.
Tiger JK gets stunned. That was part of it too.
Yeah, Tempo's going to win.
Tiger JK didn't get Lightning Bond, by the way. It's something that we sometimes see Rhaegar's pick up here on Battlefield of Eternity. So you have the double Lightning Shield damage, but he got Wolf Run, making sure that he has that mobility he needs. And yeah, the first Immortals here for TempoStorm, and Tempo are going to split push, especially since they've already done a lot of damage to this top tower.
Really great job so far from them. We'll see how much experience lead they can get out of this. That's what they're looking to do, is just not get as much value as they can in one lane, but to just kind of get ahead of a full level. But good defense here from Cloud9. iDream and Zix are going to be here on the bottom to keep soaking away as well as clear it up. So it looks like almost 2 full front walls falling here for Cloud9. And we'll see here what TempoStorm plans to do with their mid-game before they get to that next Immortal spawn, try and push that further. How Cloud9 plans to even out this experience, as they're down a full level now despite there only being 1 kill.
Yeah, and so that will, I think, prompt Tempo to definitely make sure that they're keeping up with that lane soak in both of the lanes. There's mercenary camps available, and with a huge congregation from both teams up toward the top lane, they may even be bringing Zix up to make sure that they can get that camp, but Sonya is just soloing the bottom camp this whole time.
Hello, iDream.
Hello. Shattered Ground is helping her be able to pick that up faster too. It's talent we sometimes see there at level 4. Often, especially on the shrines, but we'll be here too. And they do pick up this Khazra camp. They're trying to push with it to bring down this final tower.
Good shields from Caterpillar, though, keeping the structures alive, though. He's even willing to use it on the gate. just to try and stall us out as much as you can. Tempo Storm halfway to level 7 here, but Cloud9 not very far behind. A full level lead at level 4 is not going to maintain that if experience is so evenly between each other, just because the amount of experience needed for further levels is just bigger and bigger. So that ends up evening out as we get closer and closer to 10. They are very close to those 7 talents, though. Cloud9 getting close to that Immortal spawn. They need to do something to try and even up the experience.
Here's something we don't see very often. Insatiable at level 4 for Greymane. It's usually eyes in the dark or thick skin to give those block stacks when you're in Worgen form, but this is going to mean Inner Beast can give some mana back to Greymane. Maybe just focusing on being able that he can continue to fight for long periods of time.
And based off how that last game they played on Battlefield went, it makes sense to me. That was long siege wards. That was a 25-minute Battlefield.
That's true.
Game. Just a lot of poking. So extra mana is going to help out a lot there. We'll see if it ends up paying off. Cloud9 taking the defensive posture right now, as they do finally hit level 7. See what they want to do. They haven't. Will be Ferocious Healing. No surprise since you know. Solo Warrior Zoia, not a thing that gets seen too often.
Yeah, definitely going to need that Ferocious Healing. And all the talents looking super standard. Hammer of the Lightbringer is a little bit different for Uther at level 4, but again, also allowing him to restore some of his own mana for those long, drawn-out fights right here around the central area of the battleground.
Well, Cloud9 not really getting into position where they're going to be able to poke down their Immortals opponents, which is where this comp would have its strength in. I mean, we saw again K1 Pro in that last game just siege for days here, but we do have a gank onto iDream here in the bottom. Thompson is here. Here comes Goku with the Dwarf Toss. He's trying to kite back. It does end up going down, but Zix very far forward as well. Outers by avoids both Arcade, and he jukes the orb. Zix, juke master.
That was awesome. That's like in bowling when it's like a split. That's what I don't know why that reminded me of that, but that's what it reminded me of, so I'm going with it. They've got a fruit on Goku is to Dwarf Toss out. They're trying to put damage down, but with these Immortals being in defended positions, you're seeing teams really trying to rotate where they can to get Soak toward level 10, because they know it's going to be a bit before either team can really be able to take someone out, unless Tiger JK gets caught like that. But a great gravity lapse from KO is going to make sure that they don't lose their Rhaegar and bring down Li Ming to boot. Yeah,
Thompson dove deep in the backline while everyone else was trying to kill off the Greymane, or the Rhaegar there. And they are going to keep this siege up. And Tempo Storm is going to win this part of the phase with those 2 kills. Thompson's getting very low. Does iDream have Ancient Spear up? Does not have it. So they're just going to go ahead and back out. And Tempo Storm, full level up right now, doing a good job.
They've got to go back and tap, though. They're all out of mana, basically, except Tomster. They're fairly low in health, too. And you can see that with this amount of time, even, Cloud9 are evening up the health bar quite a bit for the Immortal. But a full level lead, yeah, for Tempo Storm. They're trying to get to those heroic abilities with a few more picks, might be able to secure it. But at the very least, they have gotten back to defending Ilarion.
Yeah, and despite those deaths, this is so even still for Cloud9. The only thing that's behind for them is the experience right now. King Caffeine going for some body blocks onto Goku, but he's very low in mana. Great shields from Caterpillar, but again, he's also on the verge of being out of mana here. And Tempo Storm looks like they're going to win this Immortal phase here. Cloud9 not really having much they can do to contest this, especially with Li Ming missing a few of those skill shots there. Just nice avoidance from Tempo Storm, and yeah, this is going to go over to them. Second Immortal of the game going to Tempo.
You know, the heroes who are really high in mana, Uther and Greymane, thanks to Insatiable and Hammer of the Lightbringer, and then Li Ming too, but just because Li Ming is a beast. But that is an Immortal for Tempo Storm, and it's at a great time for them. They're about to get heroic abilities, and that may mean they turn on the aggression while they have that advantage over Cloud9. These towers, they still have to go through the towers up here in the top, but they've taken down 1. The gate and the tower are pretty low too, so it shouldn't be too much before they're down and they can move on to the fort.
Really liking this pickup here from KO at level 7 for the extra siege onto the Immortals. If you actually look at the siege right now, KO is on top for his team. Not Greymane, it's the Kael'thas. And that's not something we see very often, is a Kael'thas out-sieging a Greymane.
And that's why we see this build a lot in Asia. It usually has mana tap, right, at level 4.
Yeah, you usually go mana tap.
Right, it's not the Netherwind. But with Netherwind, still KO has the potential to be able to really... Sorry, my dog just destroyed something. To really be able
Nice,
to catch
Arnold.
somebody out of position.
Well, Phoenix does come out. Cloud9 still not having those heroics there. They're doing a good job of defending this as well as they can. It's sieging down very, very quickly here. Keeps at half HP. Will they end up being able to get it? Tempo Storm's trying, but the Immortal does fall. Sundering comes out as they do have level 10. Goku pops Avatar immediately. KO chunking Dunk Train. He's going to back out here. And no follow-up from the Sundering there for Cloud9. Yeah, I mean, you're right. That's why you see that build on Kael'thas in Korean China. It's just, you don't usually see the way KO did it. That's what's throwing me off a bit is you never really see Netherwind picked up.
Right. I totally thought the same thing, that we would be getting Gravity Crush at 4, because it's most often, I think, Mana Addict and then Mana Tap, so that he has a ton of mana, and then the Sunfire Enchantment. But it's really working out very well for Tempo Storm, helping them out be able to siege those Immortals down, despite the fact that we were concerned about their ability to do so versus this composition from Cloud9.
Well, good thing is for Cloud9, they didn't lose a keep, and they're only down 1 level, so they still have the opportunity to try and force a comeback here, but Tempo Storm is playing so safe. I mean, they're under forts right now. They're not even willing to soak top lane right now just because they know no one from Cloud9 is. They don't even need to risk, getting picked up right there. Goku is going to be aggressively scouting forward here, potentially looking to force the fight down here. But not going to be able to get anything. Gravity Lapse is used onto Caterpillar. Thompson trying to trade as well as he can. Goku's getting very low here. Now Thompson is in very deep. He does get the leap out, though.
Oh, but a huge sundering from King Caffeine and Sanctification to help the team. Now they're starting to run back in, but still, they don't have 13 yet. This is a time where Cloud9 wants this fight to happen. So I like the Tempo Storm have just disengaged off of this, and they can work on getting these bruisers on their side, maybe even soaking that wave up top and working toward those level 13 talents. So they're up again, a talent tier advantage around the Immortal phase.
Yeah, and of course, a lot of heroics were used in that fight, which hurts both ends, but Sonya not having Wrath of the Berserker for the Immortal phase is a big loss for Cloud9. It means they can't even attempt to contest this. See here how they plan on fighting this. They're going to go ahead and try and kill off Goku here. Great force while catching KO there. iDream's in deep. Li Ming combo connects. Ancestral does connect though at the last second from Tiger JK. And now iDream in deep as the solo warrior Sonya has to be careful.
Yeah, again, this is the time that Cloud9 wants to be fighting, and Tempo Storm was found all of the members at that Immortal. They're going back up. They're starting to take down Bel'Ath, but with the ability to push away the members of Tempo Storm, they rotated very quickly, and so Cloud9 was the one to get to halfway first.
Well, it's going to be a race here. Who's going to come out on top? iDream a bit slower to the rotation, and he does maintain Wrath. No, he does lose Wrath of the Berserker there. So it's actually going to go over to Cloud9 here. Tempo Storm deciding they don't want to contest. There's Sanctification. Sundering has been used. King Caffeine trying to kite out here, but the Immortal is won by Cloud9. Zix dives in with the Aldoran's Might. He's very far forward. Great force wall from Caterpillar, and Zix is going to fall.
He's going to deal a lot of damage to iDream, but not enough to kill him. You know, Tempo Storm decided to try to defend, but it was fairly late. Like, there was a lot of time that Cloud9 was able to burst down that Immortal while they had some members on it. I think somebody had to go back and tap maybe, and then like by the time they actually got all of them there, it was already way too late for them to be able to get that. Maybe they were just trying to get some kills so it wouldn't be as strong of a push, but they didn't even get that too, and they lost 6. So now no Sanctification, no Ancestral Healing for a few more seconds for this defense here, and where they were ahead and about to get their 13 talents ahead of Cloud9, now Cloud9 have caught back up in experience and have a good Immortal to push onto these keep towers.
Let's see here what Cloud9 can do with this. They're going to get the front wall for sure. I don't think they can get the keep as this is already pretty whittled down. Yeah, this is not going to be able to get keep. They would have to get a kill here. But Cloud9, they said, evened up the experience, Gilly. This is a really good situation for them to be in now. Now we're getting closer and closer to level 16 here. Multiple heroes in this game get power spikes, specifically Kael'thas and Sonya.
Yeah, and speaking on Sonya, a lot of defensive talents picked up at level 13 from Cloud9. They have the Mystical Spear, but then also Illusionist instead of Glass Cannon for Li Ming. They've got Spell Shield on Thrall too, so they're trying to do what they can, knowing that this is a solo warrior Sonya composition for the team.
Well, Tempo Storm looking to contest down here in the bottom. They're able to get this fort and push their lead even farther. Siege can't push it in top. Don't know how much damage that will get on that top keep. See if Tempo Storm sends anyone up. Looks like KO might be rotating that way to deal with that push. And we're getting closer to the next Immortal phase, Gilly, and if Cloud9 wins it, that could be bad for Tempo Storm.
Yes.
It will go on to a keep no matter what. Where Cloud9 still has partial forts they have to defend against.
Yeah, they have the fort, which is where it'll go to, but that keep is still so low in top. If only Tempo Storm could take that thing out and start getting catapults pushing, but instead they're having to, again, deal with mercenary camps in this lane because they just haven't found the right opportunity to take that keep out. But maybe if they can, now that we're getting to the late game, win a team fight again, they may have the opportunity to just win the game because that keep is so low. So at least they've got that on their mind.
Well, we do see that Cloud9 trying to disengage here. The Immortals are spawning. Let's see who the spawns favor. And it will be in the bottom and the top. Looks like iDream already popping Wrath of the Berserker and trading onto the point, getting some good damage onto Zix. Needs to make sure he keeps it up for as long as he can, though. We do see that Goku taking a lot of damage, has the Dwarf Cross out. iDream again trying to keep up the trade and is doing some good damage to Samora. And Cloud9 already in a favorable position here. Great force on the Caterpillar.
KO does get a really big gravity lapse, and the iDream is going to even be hit by the stun from the Immortal, pushed away. They're still not quite finding the kill. They need to be able to take somebody out here. And again, another gravity lapse on iDream. And Tomster's even into the back. They use Sanctification to allow him precious seconds to keep fighting, and Ancestral Healing will even prolong that too. He's really trying to bring somebody down. King Caffeine is so close, but the Divine Shield will save him, and Zix goes down.
iDream is going to fall in the back line, though. A 1-for-1 exchange so far, but more people on the end of Tempo Storm are lower than the end of Cloud9, and Dunk Train going for the exchange here at the Immortal here with King Caffeine. Everyone else is backing out, and I got to give it to iDream Zoia, man. It is terrifying. He is just not afraid to trade at all. Like, that fight started with both of the Warriors of Tempo Storm being half HP, primarily from what iDream was doing in those exchanges.
Yeah, and they're going to now, because of that great fight for them, get the Immortals to go to halfway, and there is still a lot of health for Bel'Ath to even catch back up for Tempo Storm to get there. And with this positioning, oh, this is so easy for Cloud9 to be able to get done with the Immortal. And again, Tempo Storm starts working on this Immortal and then starts to rotate back around. And it's going to be too late.
Trying to stall it out, it looks like. Just let Tomster whittle it down as much as he can here. Yeah, they're going to lose it, but maybe that was their plan. I disagree that it was the right option. I think you're right that they probably should have just traded it by themselves, but maybe that's what they're thinking. Let Tomster just get the shields as low as he can while the rest of us stall. Didn't end up working out, though, as Cloud9 is going to be the first team to hit level 16. Again, Power Spike for Zoia. Tempo Storm not far off, though. Oh, this is a monster way for iDream to get. Has a lot of experience.
Yeah. Alright, well, he's going to start sieging this bottom lane. And you can see members of Tempo Storm out in the lane just trying to do whatever damage they can earlier on. But Tomster's going to get hit by that Ancient Spear, and they really have to be careful of that because Thrall is starting to move from the side, and he has Sundering. So if someone steps out from here, they're going to even use it. Earlier, Goku gets hit by the Force Wall, but is able to Dwarf Toss over it. And now Bel'Ath has met the keep.
Yep, this keep is falling very fast, and the top keep is exposed here for Tempo Storm. And if Cloud9 can get kills here in this exchange, this could turn into game as that core is now going to be exposed here. Zix going for the body block onto iDream, but he's so hard to kill with that double support between Tassadar and Uther there. King Caffey taking a lot of damage, and the Divine Shield does end up coming out here. They're trying to get the turnaround onto Tomster. Sanctification has been used. iDream very, very low. Shrink Ray used very deep in the backline on Dunk Train, and they do get the kill onto Thrall here. And this could be the fight Tempo Storm needs. Tyrael does end up going down. He's going to try and get the kill onto iDream. That's going to be KO falling in the backline. Nice stuns going out onto Goku. iDream trying to survive. Does he have the spear up to just get over the wall? He's going for the spin to heal at the last second, but iDream will fall. Tomster hit with the Ancestral Healing. Did that just barely come up?
No, it was available. It was there. Because I had checked it earlier. Well, they're going to get the kill on Uther, and that was beautiful by Tempo Storm. The synergy with the Sanctification and the Ancestral Healing, it allowed Tomster to fight for so long as Greymane. And they did get kind of pulled far apart, which is where we saw Kael'thas get taken out. Greymane was clear in the back going after Tassadar, and then way on the other side was Kael'thas getting brought down, and they lost Tyrael too. But they still were able to get a better trade for it, and now they're finally being able to siege into these lanes, maybe even going to get this final fort in the game.
Yeah, it's forcing you to go down, just evens up the experience. When the experience is this even, you know, it's still Tempo Storm's still in a very okay position. Yes, they're down a keep, but with how low top keep is at this point in the game, as we're getting 20 minutes, as we're getting closer to level 20, death timers. If Tempo Storm gets a wipe, this keep is you can walk through it very, very easily and go straight for course. So all it takes is either team just winning a team fight, and this could be a game. Now, when it comes to the next Immortal phase, Cloud9 gets that. That will be the last keep standing for Tempo Storm. Again, just putting Cloud9 even further ahead, potentially the game. But don't think Tempo Storm's out of this just because they lost a single keep.
And the nice thing too for Tempo is their bruisers will push in the bottom lane, which is where they're having catapults push against them. So it'll buy them some time for this long Immortal phase. But they're still gonna have to deal with the bruisers up in the top, which they do not want to let them put any damage on the keep because of the fact that, yes, if they lose that Immortal phase, that's where it's going to go.
Well, there's Zaldarin's Might coming out of the China zone out. iDream Sanctification used. Ancestral Healing hit with the wrong target. Hit 6% of Tomster now. And Tomster has to back out, but Divine Shield was used as well.
Man, that is the problem when you have people stacked up like that and you're trying to go for the Ancestral Healing. And, you know, they use the Sanctification and the Ancestral at the same time. Tomster is still just trying to get healed back up now, so not being as aggressive as he would like. Holy Ground, buying some time, forcing people to go take the long way to this Immortal. Maybe with Heraldric Reforging, they can get Eldrin's back up soon, but yeah, here are the Bruisers starting to siege down that fort.
That keeps going down. Tempo Storm's not going to be able to rotate that in time. They have to contest this. But KO's going down here. No Sanctification for 30 seconds there. Will the resets be enough to secure more kills? No, it's not, but this is devastating for Tempo Storm. Their top keep's already taken damage. They have to go clean that up. If they don't, they lose the keep, which means the Immortal will push straight onto the core. But if they go clear this up, this is just free damage onto their Immortal from Cloud9. That death and the Bruiser time is so pivotal for Cloud9 that it essentially has secured them this game.
Right, and we saw bruisers from both sides, but again, I mentioned that the catapults were there on the bottom one, so it was favoring Cloud9 slightly just because of the fact that they had taken that keep down. And now, this is a huge fight. They have to do this because they can't deal with such a well-shielded Immortal, plus all of the members of Cloud9 being up too. That keep is so low, it won't be able to stop them versus that, but they're not getting any kills. The Holy Ground trying to keep Dunkrin away, but Uther is not the best target for them to try to take out.
iDream doesn't care who he trades with, going on Murden, going on Tyrael. Greymane going to be the first to fall in this fight. Tyrael's going to fall as well. And with this Immortal for Tempo Storm being about to fall, with Cloud9's having almost no damage onto it, this has to be GG, Gilly. Cloud9 with level 20 versus level 19. The final keep standing is just a scratch away from death. And I think this should be it. KO needs to just get the monstrous wombo combo death right here, but I don't think that's going to happen. Sundering comes out. KO's going to fall. Only Tiger, JK, and Goku alive, and I don't think Murden and Rhaegar is going to be able to stop this push. This should be GG, and Cloud9, they're going to be joining 6 other teams in Burbank.
K1 Pro going into Archon mode, the few times that we get to see Archon mode. And that will be it! Cloud9 finally being able to qualify. Had to go all the way through to the 4th one, but Tempo Storm is going to have to fight a little bit longer. They will drop down into the lower bracket. And as soon as the core goes down, we can give you a bracket update.
There we go. So congratulations to Cloud9. They do qualify for Burbank. Been a struggle for them. I know a lot of people were nervous about this Cloud9 roster, especially going through roster changes only days before this event, but they looked pretty good. They drafted very well, except for that Sky Temple game. Yeah, that just looked pretty normal for me for Cloud9's play. Tempo Storm's still in the event. They are falling to the losers bracket. They will play in the losers finals, where that will be their last chance to qualify for Burbank.
Yeah, it looks like we don't have any update on who won versus Hot Dog Burglars and OVO and Rack Attack versus Team Blaze. Do we have confirmation that we are going to be hosting? It looks like Sophist is still waiting. Did you hear back from Sophist?
Let me ask now.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, Tempo Storm will play the winner of...
Yeah, he's good to finish. So we'll be hosting J-How.
Okay, the winner of the matches that are still going on. But those matches from here on out are going to be on J-How's stream. So you guys can hang out with J-How and Baba Booey. We will host here. But of course, if you want to go and hang out in that chat, I'm sure they would love it. Before we go, any final thoughts, Zoya? Do you want to give any shout-outs?
Just keep cheering on Tempo Storm throughout the rest of this event. And that's it. That's all I gotta say. Oh, I got a new computer thanks to Gillyweed and her awesome husband. So I'll be streaming 5 days a week starting tomorrow. I don't know the exact schedule yet. I'm gonna kind of play around with different times starting tomorrow and find out what I want to do after Burbank. But thank you, Gilly, and I hope everyone tunes into my stream now.
Well, I'm sure they will. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We hope you had fun. Hope you'll continue to support J-How and Baba Booey as they finish up the cast for this event. It's been a blast hanging out with you guys. Thanks for being nice to my mods, too. Those of you who were, I really appreciate it. And thank you to all of my mods for being able to hang out here, especially since I kind of last minute notified you guys about casting this. So you guys can follow me if you want on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. All Gillyweed SC2. Follow him at Tempo Zoia, and we will see you guys later. Bye!